Shavua Tov, everyone. We're getting ready to do Havdalah with all the family. And we're going to share with you a story right after the Havdalah. As you know that after Motzei Shabbat, we have a minhag to mention Eliyahu Hanavi because we're praying that finally Eliyahu Hanavi is going to come, right?
Yeah, right.
He's going to come, he's going to take us out, and we're going to go with Mashiach, and we're going to go to the Bet HaMikdash, right? So we're going to share a story. I chose this week to do Havdalah on white wine because white represents purity, cleanliness. We ask Hashem, like we say in the song, Chatotenu, right? That Hashem should cleanse all of our sins. So we're going to do Havdalah on white wine today. I'm not wearing a tie. My bottle is wearing a tie. So we pour the white wine. You could do it on red, you could do it on white. I chose to do it this week on white. And we overflow a little bit. Why do we do that? You know, why do we put a little bit more?
I never learned.
No? You never learned this? So I'll teach you now. So, we overflow because we want the brachot to overflow. And
I learned it.
Yeah, you learned that?
Yeah.
And we're going to light.
You want the mitzvahs to spread out.
You want the mitzvah to spread out. We want the blessings to spread out, right?
I forgot about
Beautiful.
Me too.
Okay, now we're going to light the candle.
You didn't forget if you said it.
Okay.
I forgot.
And we prepare the besamim. Okay. Let's go. ראשון לציון הנה עיניו ולירושלים מבשרת הן כוס ישועות אשא ושם אדוני יקרא אנא אדוני יושיע נא אנא אדוני יושיע נא הצליחנו הצליח דרכנו הצליח לימודנו ושלח ורחבה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידינו כי דכתיב יישא ברכה מאת אדוני וצדקה מאלוהי אישו ליהודים אתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר וכתיב ויהי דוד לכל דרכיו משכיל ואדוני עמו כן יהיה עמנו תמיד סברי מרנן ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהים מלך העולם בורא ברי הגפן. Now we do the besamim. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהים מלך העולם בורא מיני בשמים.
אמן.
I did something.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהים מלך העולם בורא מורה האש.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהים מלך העולם מבדיל בין קודש לחול, ובין אור לחושר, ובין ישראל עמים, ובין יום השביעי ששת ימי המעשה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המבדיל בין קודש לחול.
אמן.
אמן. בין קודש לחול. המבדיל בין קודש לחול.
Okay, everybody vote a little bit?
What is it for? Why this?
Why do we do this? You know why we do this?
Oh, to put the mitzvahs all around us?
No, because our sage's very good question, we do this because it is said that finally when Eliyahu Hanavi will come and Mashiach will come after the resurrection of the dead, there's one bone on the body that even after thousands of years when it's buried, it's called etzem aluz. It's the bone that's called aluz, it's behind. So we put a sign that eventually when all the dead will resurrect, we put a sign that we did Havdalah every Motzei Shabbat. So I'm going to share a beautiful story with you of a big chacham, a big sage. His name was Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi.
Yeah.
And Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi met Eliyahu hanavi. And he told him that he wants to travel with him. He wants to go places.
How
Right?
did you need him?
He met him. Eliyahu hanavi sometimes reveals himself. Eliyahu hanavi sometimes reveals himself to great tzaddikim, to great sages in a different way. He looks like a human. He looks like everything. Many years later, and Eliyahu hanavi, yes, you want to ask me something?
The guy that wanted to go with Eliyahu hanavi for travel, he was a big tzaddik.
Yeah, Rabbi Yehosua ben Levi was a great, great sage, a great scholar, and a great pious person. He was a big tzaddik. Eliyahu hanavi told him, wanted to discourage him. He told him, no, you can't come with me. If you come with me, you're not going to understand anything. You're going to see weird things. You're going to see strange things that your mind is not able to grasp. And you're going to ask me a bunch of questions. You're going to start driving me crazy. I don't want you to come with me. What are you going to do? Are you going to see this? You're going to why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? No, I can't have you over. So Rabbi Yehosua begged him, please take me with you. I promise I'm not going to disturb you. I'm not going to ask any questions. He said, no, please don't bother me. You're going to see, godly things. You're not going to be able to comprehend with your limited mind. And after a few minutes of begging, finally Eliyahu told him, I agree. I will take you with me, but on one condition. Don't ask me any questions, huh? Okay, he promised he's not going to ask any questions. As they started to travel...
Is he allowed to promise?
Why not? He's allowed to promise. As they started to travel, they arrived at this house. In the front of the house sat an old couple. Right in front of the house. But they look very distinguished, very presentable. As much as they didn't look so rich, they right away saw Eliyahu hanavi, not knowing that it's Eliyahu hanavi, and saw Rabbi Yehuda, not knowing who they were. They jumped right away out of their chairs, and they begged him to come into their house and stay with them for dinner, and they could rest at their house. I tell you, the house didn't look much. There was not a lot of wood to burn for fire. They looked very poor. It looked very bad. But whatever they had, they shared it with Rabbi Yehosua, and they shared it with Eliyahu hanavi. They gave them everything. Whatever they had to eat, whatever they had to do, they shared it with them.
They had chesed.
They had real chesed, real acts of kindness. The next morning, Rabbi Yehosua and Eliyahu hanavi were getting ready to leave the house. As they were leaving, they departed ways with this couple. They were very happy. After a few minutes, Rabbi Yehosua notices that Eliyahu hanavi is praying. And as he's hearing him pray, he wants to get closer to him to hear what he said. And he's astonished that Eliyahu hanavi is praying that the cow of this couple should die. Rabbi Yehosua says, oh my gosh, this couple doesn't have anything. Their whole source of income, whatever they have, was from this cow. They made milk with it. They made cheese. They made different things. And now Eliyahu hanavi is praying that they should die. Rabbi Yehosua was shocked. But as he promised, he wasn't going to ask any questions. And they continued on their journey. After another day of travel, they arrived to this big palace, a beautiful house with everything inside of it. Everything. Everybody was well dressed. The owner, the balabat, everybody, his wife. And Eliyahu asked him, can we please stay with you? As much as the house was so big, they were received in such indifference. They were cold. And after a few minutes of
He was
hesitating,
showing him the difference.
it's a good question. After a few minutes of hesitating, the owner said to Eliyahu Navi, yeah, you could stay. But he didn't offer them anything to eat. He barely even spoke to them. He didn't even make him feel good. As much as the house was so beautiful and everything was inside of it, he didn't want to share it with anyone.
It's a big difference because the poor people were...
1 second. Oh, 1 second. We're going to get to the punchline. Now, you're going to see, just like Yeshua, Rabbi Yehosua, we don't understand much. But you have to wait until the end of the story to really see how what we think and what we see is two different things. And as much as they were not accepted into their house so nicely, the next morning, again, Rabbi Yehosua sees Eliyahu Navi praying. And this time he gets closer and he's here to his astonishment that Eliyahu Navi was praying. And in his prayer he was saying, please God, I know that there's a wall, there's a beam inside this house that is about to fall. I pray to you, Hashem, that it shouldn't fall and the house should stay exactly the way it is. Again, Rabbi Yehosua cannot believe his ears. How can it be? These people that didn't even want to take us into their house, they didn't want to do anything for us, they didn't give us anything to eat. Their achnasat chochim, their welcoming was terrible. And here Eliyahu is blessing them. He can't get it. He couldn't get it. But again, he wanted to keep his promise. And he kept his promise. And he didn't ask a question. And again, as he's traveling with Eliyahu Navi, this great prophet, they arrived to this small city. And they arrived to this synagogue in a congregation. And they saw the synagogue, people that pray there, all the people. And here Eliyahu Navi again, they were greeted so nicely. People that were not so wealthy, they were not so well off, they were not rich, they didn't have any means, but they greeted them so well. They accepted them into their community. They gave them an aliyah to the Torah. They gave them all the kavod. Oh, bruchim habayim. They came to our synagogue and they respected him and they did everything that we should do as Jews when we see another person coming into the synagogue, to accept, to be welcoming, to love every single Jew. And this without knowing that Rabbi Yehosua was a great rabbi, and without knowing that this is Eliyahu Navi in front of them. When Eliyahu Navi parted from them, he gave them a big blessing. When he went away from the community, he told them, I bless you that one of you should become a great leader in Israel. Beautiful blessing. Rabbi Yehosua did not have any questions. That he should be a great leader amongst you from Am Israel. Beautiful. And as they continued, and again, Eliyahu Navi took Rabbi Yehosua to another congregation. And at this congregation was a beautiful synagogue. Marvelous, not anything that Rabbi Yehosua could ever see. With all beautiful chairs and chandeliers. A beautiful place. Beautiful. But at this time again, they were not so welcomed. They didn't have the same welcoming when they came at the first synagogue. No, they didn't. The people were called to them. They didn't get any aliyah la Torah. They didn't even get petichat ha'echal. When we opened the ark, nothing. No kibudim, nothing. Not a little bit of whiskey, not some kiddush, nothing. And here again, as they were leaving the community, Eliyahu Navi of blessed memory got up and said, I bless you that each one of you should become great leaders. That you should become great leaders. This, Rabbi Yehosua could not take anymore. He tells Eliyahu Navi, okay, I stop it. Please. I can't anymore. I can't. I know that if I ask you a question, we're going to part ways, we're going to separate, but I can't take it anymore. You please explain to me what we saw. Please. Eliyahu, we tell him, you're right. If I explain it to you, why is it that I blessed this community and why did I pray over there? We're going to separate each other because you promised me. But I will explain it to you. When we went to the first house, when we saw this couple, I was able to see that the wife was about to pass away. She was about to die. But she did have a chance one more time, one last chance to do a great mitzvah. This mitzvah of achnasat tochim, of receiving people to their house, to greet them in a welcoming way. And she did it so well that I had to save her. I had to give her another chance because she did this beautiful mitzvah. But I couldn't save her completely. So the cow had to come as a kapara. Had to come, yes? Yes? Just like we do kaparot. Zo khalifati, zot murati. This chicken, in this case it was a cow. So the cow had to die in order for this woman to stay alive.
Instead of her to die.
And that's why Eliyahu tells him, that's why I prayed. I prayed that the cow should be taken away, but not her. And he says, and what happened when we went to this rich guy's house? Do you remember the house and everything, how we were received? He says, I'll tell you why over there. I prayed that the wall should stand. Because behind that wall was a big treasure of money. And he was so cheap. He didn't want to share it with us. I didn't want the wall to fall and for him to discover the great treasure behind the wall. And that's why I prayed that this wall should stay exactly the same. That it should not fall. And he wouldn't find the treasure that's behind this wall. I told him Eliyahu, you're going to see things that you don't understand and you're going to ask me a million questions. Please. Yes, but please, Eliyahu Navi, tell me what happened with the synagogue. Why is it over there? He said that when we went to that synagogue, I blessed him that there should be one leader. Because when there's one person leading, he's able to lead. You know, like they say, there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. When there's one leader, he's able to lead the community. And that's a blessing. Because there's a leader that leads the community. The other synagogue that were not so welcoming to us, and they had all these issues, I blessed them, but it was not a real blessing. But because they have many people that we want to become leaders, then we have all sorts of problems. And that's why over there, as much as you think that I gave them a big blessing of having a lot of leaders, that's not necessarily always a blessing. When we have one person leading, contrary to everybody who wants to be the chief, then we're not able to progress and move forward. Wow. At this answer, Yeshua said, God bless you. Thank you so much, Eliyahu Navi. Thank you, my master and teacher. You have taught me a great lesson. Is not always what we see and what we perceive as the real reality. Life is like a big puzzle. You know, like you have a puzzle upstairs. It's 500 pieces, right? Or 1,000. Yeah. Imagine, you know how hard it is to put together 1,000 pieces of puzzle. Imagine a puzzle of 5,000 pieces. Mm-hmm. How hard it is to put it together.
5 times harder.
5 times harder. It's a lot more than 5 times. It's very hard. This is our life. Our life is one big puzzle. We have to see the whole picture.
Is it easy puzzle?
At some times, we're not able to see the whole picture. We're not able to see the real reality. When we get in touch with the reality of the world, the more we understand God, the more we understand how God directs the world and how God is connected directly to everything that happens to us in the world, that itself gives us a much broader understanding. But nevertheless, we know that there are things that are beyond our comprehension. And what we see sometimes is not the real reality. Yes, Warla.
Did the people with the rich house on the thing with the beam that he didn't want the wall to fall, did they have children?
Yes, they had many children, they had everything. And nevertheless, they were not able to do a mitzvah. So with this, friends, the message is that we live in a very difficult times. But Baruch Hashem, there are good things that are happening at the same time. Yes, we ask Hashem every day, please don't give us any suffering. Don't put us through any difficulties. But we have time. It's a time to reflect. It's a time to look inside of us. How are we behaving? How are we serving Hashem by serving other people? How do we become friendly to someone else? How do we do one more mitzvah? We don't have to become great tzaddikim, great pious people, but one single action of good things. Look at this, we're spending time together. We spent maybe a little bit of too much time inside the house for Shabbat, but it was great. It was amazing. We sat together, we laughed, we ate together with our small family. And this is a time, really, that maybe this is what Hashem really wants from us. I don't know everything. I don't have the answers. But maybe that's what Hashem wants us. Hashem wants us to think, what is the good things in life? What are the important things in life? Our parents, our grandparents, our children, our uncles, our friends, our community. And a time to reflect and look inside, deeper inside of us. Right? And as much as we don't get it all, that's fine. As much as we don't get everything, that's okay. We just have to understand and trust Hashem that everything that He brings upon us is for the greater good. Shavua Tov, and God bless us all.